Bleach falls off after Soul Society. But how? You know, people always talk about Bleach falling off after Soul Society, and I never understood why. You're gonna sit here and tell me that Bleach, the best of the big three, falls off after its best arc? You're bugging, Chun. But I think it's crazy that I also hear people saying that the arc after Soul Society is Bleach's best arc. And no, I'm not talking about the Bounce arc. I'm talking about the arrancar arc. But I'm not just talking about the arrancar arc. Oh no, you're getting a 2-for-1 special. We're talking about the Wakamundo arc as well. But without further ado, let's talk about these arcs. Let's go ahead and get down to business. This arc introduced a good handful of characters that I like. First up, we got Shinji Hiraku, and it's hard to believe that this bowl-cut, corny-looking nerd is one of the best characters of this arc. Bro looks like an evolved version of Coconut Head, and yet he is still one of the most entertaining characters of this arc. Because he can be an absolute goof 1 minute and turn around and be the most calculated and coolest person in the room. And then we got Hiyori. I cannot stand this little bitch. I just want to grab her by the throat and give her the meanest choke slam she's ever seen. And I think what makes it worse is that I have a friend who says the best girl in all of Bleach is Hiyori. But you know, don't worry, he's on a watch list. But now we get to the cool kids of the arc, the arrancars, easily one of the most intimidating groups in all of anime. And the first one we're gonna talk about is the mom-hating, hot topic visiting, black eyeliner wearing,
because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you,
Ukiura Seifer, or just the way that Ukiura was built up and presented as this final boss was done wonderfully throughout the arc. Then we got Nell 2, who is absolutely adorable, extremely entertaining, and a joy to watch on screen. Although Anya better. Oh yeah, fuck Loopy a bitch. And then we got the best character introduced in this arc, Grimmjow Jaggerjack. Everything about Grimmjow is peak. His design is perfect, especially when it's compared to Ichigo. Their designs clash as if they're destined to be rivals. His writing is great. His goal of wanting to be the strongest, his superiority complex, and his fear of being weak is simple on a surface level, but everything that Grimmjow does and says is a reflection of his goal. Easily the best arrancar, easily the best Espada. And that is not an opinion, that is just a fact of life. But let's take a step back. Let's address the title of the video. Did Bleach fall off after Soul Society? Well, from a storytelling standpoint, it's on par with the Soul Society, even if it trips every now and then. Even though in this video I'm only covering the first 2 arcs of this arrancar saga, there was a lot of great moments crammed into these 2 arcs, a lot of great storytelling crammed into these 2 arcs. This arc starts off with a bang. We had the return of Grand Fisher, arguably the best hollow from the first arc. We also had it revealed that Ichigo's dad is a Soul Reaper, which, now that I think about it, isn't that surprising. But it was great to see that my boy Ishin was able to get revenge on Grand Fisher for killing his wife. A nice way to start the arc. But let's talk about the arrancars, because from the very minute that they showed up on screen, they were phenomenal. Ukiura and Yami's debut was a great way to introduce these guys. These boys put up to the scene playing no games whatsoever. Yami pulled up and slapped up bum-ass Chad. These guys are playing no games whatsoever, and Toshiro even knew that because this man was going on about how 10 Vaste Lourdes is an instant win for Aizen, and then the next scene, this man Aizen's like, yeah, I got 20. Like, bro, that's overkill. We got Ichigo doing goat shit as usual. He was on the verge of sending Hiyori straight to the Shadow Realm until Shinji and the rest of the job squad had to come in and save her. But you know, the Black Clover scene was much better. Then we got the scene of Ichigo once again having to conquer his demons. I think this is a great scene. For the most part, it's just that when this man Zangetsu was talking and giving his speech to Ichigo, I just had flashbacks to TikTok. But let's talk about the GOAT Byakuya, because he had one of the best character moments without even being on screen. Ichigo and the boys go into Wakamundo to save Orihime, even though that is against the wishes of Yamamoto. He told them to not go into Wakamundo. He banned all Soul Reapers from going to Wakamundo. So you know what the GOAT Byakuya did? He said fuck the rules and went ahead and sent Renji Arukia anyways. That right there further proves why Byakuya is a GOAT. And the most soul crushing moment of this arc has to be when Ichigo was giving it his all to take down this Chris Angel knockoff Ukiura. He concluded that if he took down Ukiura, the strongest Espada, he basically won, but yeah, nah, Ukiura wasn't the strongest Espada. He was number 4. 4! I'm telling you right now, when I saw that number 4 on Ukiura's chest, my heart dropped to my stomach. I felt absolute dread. I was probably more upset and shocked than Ichigo. If I found out that I was getting ragdolled by the number 4 Espada, I would have gave up. Put me in prison too. There was a lot of good moments in these two arcs. The arrancar arc introduced us to these new threatening enemies, and the Hueco Mundo arc basically solidified these guys as absolute demons. But the thing that these two arcs share is that they're mainly consisting of fights. And if you know me, you know I love fighting. Yoruichi versus Yami is proof that the most dangerous species on this planet is an angry black woman. Ikkaku versus Eterod was absolutely fire. No pun intended. I mean, come on. Black Air Force Mr. Clean with comically large swords is easily the best thing in Bleach. Ichigo versus Dorodani something something, I don't care. I initially was annoyed by this fight. Like, Ichigo, my man, stop going easy on this man. Send him straight to the Shadow Realm. But you know, after sitting back and thinking about the theme of it, I liked it. It's a solid fight. Plus, you can make a good drinking game out of it. Take a shot every time the word Niño is said. Rukia versus Kaien was phenomenal. The choreography, the music, the storytelling, all of it was on point. From start to finish, it was absolutely peak, and it was emotional, and it really showed how badass Rukia was. This is easily a top 5 fight in this arc, and this is only including the Arrancar and Hueco Mundo arcs. We aren't even talking about the latter half of the Arrancar saga. But even if I saw those, I guarantee you that this fight would still rank up in the top 5. But yeah, Rukia is a GOAT and is the best female character in all of Shonen Jump. And speaking of top tier characters, you guys need to put some respect on my man Uryu, because after his fight with Soruchi, there's no denying that this man is top 10 in the series. I love how this fight really highlights how smart Uryu is, and also builds upon the Quincy race and gives them a better development as well. Chad versus adult Huey Freeman was really fun. Just two big meaty men slapping meat. Ukiura versus Ichigo was not a fun fight at all. Matter of fact, it wasn't even a fight, because a fight could at least go both ways. This was a one-sided ass whooping. I'm pretty sure after Ichigo found out that Ukiura was only the 4th strongest Espada, it just left a hole in his heart. Or chest. Ichigo versus Grimmjow round 1 was insane, because I've never seen an MC get hit with a 100 hit combo. Ichigo versus Grimmjow round 2 was a little bit better for Ichigo. You know, he got his licks in, but as soon as that mask broke,
it was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
But you know what they say, third time's a charm. And Ichigo versus Grimmjow round 3 was absolutely perfect. The build-up, the theme, the music, the choreography, the animation for its time, everything about it was perfect. This fight, in the moments before, really established both Ichigo and Grimmjow as some of my favorite characters in Bleach. Especially for Grimmjow, this fight really helped him. It boosted him up from like top 10 to top like 5. And as of right now, this fight, Ichigo versus Grimmjow 3, is my second favorite fight in the anime so far. I don't really have a good segue for this, but the first OP wasn't bad. It was alright. But I really hate the second OP, specifically because Cone is singing it. Fuck Cone. And the third OP is good, although this OP and none of the other ones are getting on my playlist. I can understand why people say that Bleach goes downhill after the Soul Society arc. I mean, that arc was just a tough act to follow. But to say that Bleach falls off after Soul Society, it's a lie. You're lying to yourself, and you know it, because it doesn't fall off. It took a couple steps back, but it did not fall off. That's like saying Rangaku has small fun balloons. It's just a lie. But there is some nitpicks that I have with this arc. The recap every episode was really annoying. It felt like there was a lot of nothing going on from time to time. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I love fights, some of these fights took way too long and some of them were split up at the wrong times. It felt like the fights would have done better if they were all just in one episode instead of jumping back and forth between different fights. But to answer the title of the video, Bleach did not fall off after Soul Society. The arrancar arc is good, maybe not as good as Soul Society, but it's still a pretty damn good arc as of right now, because I'm only covering the first half. There's still the whole second half of the arrancar arc or arrancar saga, whatever you want to call it. Just know I'm gonna have a video covering the rest of this saga.